Hi, it's Janine Turner, and welcome to Front Porch Philosophy. Let's go retro. How are you? Well, today we are going to discuss Aristotle still. We've had a week of Aristotle. It's been quite interesting, hasn't it? Well, disclaimer, I'm an actress. I'm not a professional philosopher. But that doesn't mean that you and I cannot philosophize, does it? So what do we do here at Front Porch Philosophy? You know what we do. Let's take a deep breath, shall we? And shouldn't just society? Shouldn't we all? Okay, ready? Let's take another deep breath. There we go. How are you? Okay, we have been talking about Aristotle all week, and we actually, yesterday we were discussing ethics, and today we're going to discuss politics. Really fascinating, as we have discussed this week, about how our founding fathers truly understood the philosophers, and I think our children are missing out, and we as adults are missing out for not understanding the wisdom as they searched for purpose of life, the goodness of life, the function that we all have within life. What is life? I mean, I think it just triggers a conversation that we just don't have anymore. Everything is so negative, isn't it? So we are striving to be positive here. So now let's talk about politics, Aristotle and politics. There's some interesting things here. Aristotle really, wait, hang on. It's very windy here today. Politics, here you go. All right, so here we go. This is the book by Samuel Stump, From Socrates to Sartre. I'm not being paid to promote it, but it's a really excellent book, and I love reading it and sharing it with you. So politics. One of the things he says, Aristotle, is he believed that the family exists primarily to preserve life, and the state comes into existence in the first instance to preserve life for families and villages, which in the long run are not self-sufficing. But beyond this economic end, the function of the state is to ensure the supreme good of man, namely his moral and intellectual life. Yeah, to preserve that. And how is that preserved within our country and our United States Constitution? It's through the Constitution, right? It's preserved by checking power to prevent a dictator or a tyrant or, even somebody we elect from becoming too powerful. Because it's when we have checks and balances and these freedoms that we can seek our moral and intellectual life. I wrote freedom to choose, not to lose. I don't know why I wrote that. Yeah. Anyway. Then down here, something's really interesting. Okay, I absolutely love Plato because I love how he talks about we were sort of a part of an eternity, and then we came here, and then we go back, whereas Aristotle believed that the body and the soul were one, and when you die, everything dies. But Plato said here in his, well, not here because this is the Aristotle chapter, but Plato believed in the abolition of the family for the guardian class, and providing a public nursery for their children. That's weird. Don't like that at all. That's very strange. But haven't you heard that out there? We're sort of gravitated toward that a bit, where people think the government knows best for our children than we do. But Aristotle thought that was ridiculous, because how can you know that the so-called father will care as much as the real father for the son? But he also says, this is interesting too, and on another note, the communal ownership of property would likewise destroy certain basic human pleasure, as well as engender inefficiency and endless disputes. So true. And of course that happened with the rise and fall of communism. We saw that the communal ownership of property did not go so well. But if we don't understand this, if we don't learn what the gulag and all the terrible things that have happened in these governments that sometimes a lot of people in America fantasize it as the true ideological state. If we don't realize what happens with human nature, as our founding fathers said, men are not angels, and how Stalin's and the terrible dictators have taken over North Korea. I mean, they don't have any. They don't have any more freedoms, and it's led to inefficiency and endless disputes. Definitely inefficiency. So I thought that was sort of interesting. But then I want to go over here to this, which is, okay, Finally, he said, Aristotle, quote, "Our conclusion is that political society exists for the sake of noble actions and not mere companionship." Noble actions. And you know, our founders talk a lot about, haven't you heard them talk about nobility? Not nobility as in classes, but noble, being noble, and having what it was it just said here. Noble, yeah, noble actions, and a general sense of knowledge and morality. And people get all freaked out about the word morality, like, oh, does that mean you're a sinner? It's really, it has nothing to do with, it has to do with controlling appetites and controlling habits. It doesn't really have anything to do with sexual things of this and that nature, but morality of knowledge and virtue and being noble, that's something that's really, really paramount to maintaining a structure of self-government. Well, and a society too, right? A society as well. So anyway, there you go. Aristotle's, there's so much more to it, but of course we don't have all day, right? So tomorrow we're going to talk about what Aristotle thought about the arts, as opposed to what Plato thought about arts, and what they thought about tragedy within the arts. So I hope you have a philosophical day and take time to talk philosophy with your family and friends.